Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right. Day 2 of Purple Daily Jail here. We appreciate the SKOR North YouTube channel for opening up its arms while we figure out this YouTube situation.
Good Lord.
We got the sports dad's best top men, lawyers working on it. Top men. So, for the foreseeable future, up to maybe 7 days, all of our Purple Daily content, we are not allowed temporarily to post or go live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. People are trying to figure out, speculating on what might have gone awry. Was it too much criticism by Judd of the head coach of the Vikings?
I'm taking a lot of the blame here.
Stunt being pulled by the Lions, yeah. But we'll give you our picks here. We'll tell you what the Sharps are saying about this game here. Real quick, boys, we are going to be at Mystic Lake this weekend, tomorrow, for a watch party and for a live Vikings vent line. It's open to the public, Mystic Lake Hop House. Awesome spot to watch sports, hang out with a bunch of your Purple Daily and Vikings fan friends. And the door's open, again, free to the public, 11:30 a.m. And maybe you get a hotel, stay overnight the night before, or stay overnight maybe into a Monday. But yeah, join us, Purple Daily, at Mystic Lake Hop House. We'll have a grand old time. And then also a shout out to Game Day Men's Health before we get into some of the particulars about this game. So I feel so great right now compared to a few months ago, 5 years ago. I went in because I was connected with the folks at Game Day Men's Health, and I went in with mental fog in the afternoons, decreased energy. And it was determined that my T level, my testosterone level, was lower than I want it to be I'm a man. I'm 40 now. And so they put me on a weekly plan, and I've been going in regular visits. And after about 12 weeks now, this is legitimately the best I have felt in terms of energy and decreased mental fog. And even I'm working out more than I ever have. I literally feel like I did 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And it's been because of Game Day Men's Health. So if you're interested, you don't have to just grind through feeling like crap. That's kind of what we all think. I'm just older. I feel like crap. You don't have to. The folks at Game Day Men's Health will help you with all sorts of different areas. Take control of your life. Reclaim energy, vitality. GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Purple Daily. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Purple Daily. All right, boys. So let's talk about this game here. The Vikings and the Lions. Right now, as we record this, the Lions are 8.5-point favorites in most sports books. The betting money Action Network is pretty wild here. So 86% of the bets are on the Lions to cover the 8.5. Yeah. 85% of the money is on the Lions. So the bets and the money are, you rarely see the split 85-15 like this in any NFL game. But really, bettors of all different types of bankrolls are rushing to the window to put money on the Lions to cover the 8.5. So what do you think of that? What do you think of it's 8.5, and universally people that are putting money on this game are like, yep, I would. Hell, I'll probably take. If it was 9 or 10 points, I have that much faith in the Lions.
Can't say I'm surprised. Detroit is playing well. Detroit's at home. I'm sure some of the trends that you're going to get to speak to this, but I believe Kevin O'Connell might have beat Dan Campbell in his first game in 2022 and has lost 5 consecutive games. I did find this little interesting nugget last night in doing some research on this game. This is the largest spread for or against the Vikings in the O'Connell era, and it's the largest spread against the Vikings since the infamous Kellen Mond Zim game in Green Bay, where they were 10-point dogs and lost by 20-something or 30-something. So I am actually not surprised. The spread appears big, but the more you think about it and look at things, I think it's probably fair, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. The number's fair, and the unknown JJ McCarthy factor. The Vikings have been a bottom half of the league offensive team. Their defense has gotten ravaged. You could make a case that number could even be higher. But I think there's the Vikings have been a 14-win team not that long ago, and Kevin O'Connell is still regarded as a really good coach. So some of that pours in. What are the Sharps saying about this game from Action Network? This is where we get all sorts of deep dive, sometimes conflicting information here, but it's always a fun exercise. In Jared Goff's career, he is 7-3 straight up against the Vikings with both the Rams and the Lions. And he's 8-2 against the spread against the Vikings, his second most profitable opponent against the spread in his career. When Goff has played the Vikings as the Lions quarterback, he's 8-0 against the spread, the best mark of any quarterback against the any quarterback in the NFC North against Minnesota the last 20 years.
Wow. I mean, makes sense, but wow.
Yeah. Under Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings are just 5-8-1 against the spread when playing a game on any extended rest after the Eagles lost to the Vikings in Week 7. This is all just kind of he's basically bad on extended rest, to simplify this.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lions also have even more extended rest because they're coming off a bye week, right? So you get the pseudo bye, they get the actual bye.
Right.
On any extended prep time in his career as a starter, Jared Goff is 21-11 against the spread, including 14-4 straight up with the Lions when given extra time to prepare. He covers the spread on extra rest by an average of 6.5 points in those games. He is a stud on extended rest, Jared Goff.
The spread's making more and more sense.
Let's see here. The Lions have scored 88 total points off their regular season bye over the last 2 seasons.
Good Lord.
So is that 44 points a game? Is that what?
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't just say it that way. But, right? So they scored 88 total points off the bye the last 2 seasons. So they're averaging 44 points per game off the bye.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Jeez. I'm sifting through hoping for something that would show the Vikings in a positive
It's clear
light.
you're not going to find it.
Oh my God. The Lions have won 29 consecutive games outright when leading entering the fourth quarter. So, yeah.
I think I'm good on this part of it, Phil.
They scored 40.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I'm good. I think you've done enough.
Tapping out.
They scored 47 points out of the bye last year against the Cowboys. They scored 41 points out of the bye against the Chargers in 2023. So yeah, 40 plus points per game since the over the last 2 years out of the bye.
You know what, too? Forget McCarthy. Forget for just a second, and you can't, the Vikings offense. Here's my question. How is the defense going to stop Goff? Because Goff is one of the guys who a year ago, when the defense was actually playing well, who exposed him. Yep. So let's just take 10 to 15 yards down the middle of the field. Just that sample size. Who's going to stop him?
That's a good trend. Let's just get into thing that you're least confident in, or thing that you're most concerned or nervous about. Is it that? Is it the 2 different times they played this team a year ago with that Flores defense? Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford were like the only dudes that really had it solved from the beginning of the game, right?
Right. Yes.
I mean, I'm going to pull up. I'm just curious. Intermediate was just a disaster.
Correct. And the thing about that is, surprisingly now, I guess, compared to a year ago, the run defense was great. The run defense is struggling. Maybe you can shore that up a bit, although I do have my doubts because Detroit is very good on the ground game. But just from a standpoint of, 10, 12, 15 yards down the field over the middle, what linebacker, what safety, what cornerback, who is going to save the day? Yes, that is my biggest concern, is that the Lions offensively are going to get what they want.
Yeah, so the second matchup between these two teams, Jared Goff went 27 of 33, so 82% completions. He did throw a couple interceptions, but it was just completion. They did force him into some shorter throws. His average depth of target in that game was only 5 yards in the air. So the defense made some adjustments going into that game, but it was that was the Week 18 game for the division. The one earlier in the year, the Week
Vikings played
7
well.
game,
That was not a disaster.
the Week 18 game, yeah, it was mostly like Darnold or the
No, the Week 7 game, the Vikings, I think, actually took like a 14-0 lead and were playing well. And then the Lions came back and stacked some good plays. But
right, but
hold
hold on on the Goff thing. That's just let me finish the Goff thing. It's in both games, he completed over 80% of his passes. So like it's some of it's schematic, some of it's quick game, whatever. But he completed like 85 between the two games, 85% of his passes. How do you stop that? That's to your point to start this off with. That's the question.
Yeah.
I would say the thing that makes me even more nervous is actually the Lions' running game and their commitment to the run game this year. So obviously Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, two really good backs, two good tandem backs. The Lions have ran the ball the second most times in the NFL. They have ran the ball 207 times this year, which is the second most in the NFL. And Jared Goff's an assassin, and he's accurate and he's great. They've only passed the ball. They're 26th in pass attempts. I don't mean to say the word issue. They're 26th in pass attempts, but their 16 passing touchdowns are the second most in the NFL. So they're not even passing a ton. They have basically set up, to use the cliche, they have set up to run to marry the pass. So when they do pass, it's always going to be effective. So, I mean, the offense is just super good with Detroit. But with the state of the Vikings defense, I think just trying to stop the two-headed monster, and you can classify it as the Lions offense, but I'll start as the figurehead here of their running game is been established, and it's really damn good, and they can gash you. So the whole offense, but the running game specifically has been very, very good for the Lions this year.
Yeah. I mean, they're just a wagon offensively. They've been for the last 3 years. They're like 6 yards a play. They run and score in the red zone. Almost every single measurement you would look at. They're aggressive. This is also a very contrasting like fourth down philosophies. On one hand, you've got the guy that just always all gas, no brakes on fourth down. Kevin O'Connell has the most punts. He has the fewest go for it attempts the last 2 years on fourth down. The most punts on short yardage fourth downs. So, yeah.
They're also, by the way, the Lions offense is starting on average at the 34-yard line, which is tops in the NFL. For context, the Vikings are starting at the 28. So, like, automatically, and there's some, gray area there with the new kickoff rule or other stuff too. But their average offense too is starting at the 34-yard line, which is tops in the NFL.
But this is why. So, like the main discussion point is going to be, and I'm not surprised by this, but it's going to be McCarthy, right? It's going to be McCarthy and the offense. I don't know what should be like if you're talking about winning the game, not the development of JJ, but winning the game. I think the discussion point is the defense and the fact that it has regressed to the point that it has, and what we're going through. Again, to Declan's point, how are you going to stop them? So like JJ McCarthy could play lights out, and guess what? The Lions could put up 40 freaking points.
Yeah.
Like that's what worries me as far as an actual win or loss.
Yep. No, you're right. It's there. Yeah, McCarthy is going to be a huge headline, but that struggling defense against that wagon of an offense is a big deal. And I would say just on the Vikings offensive side, because this might be a game where it's hard to envision this kind of broken Vikings defense, even with Van Ginkel coming back, holding this offense under 20 points. Like if you could hold this Lions team to like 21 or 24 points, would you take that, or would you want to see what's behind door number 2? I think I would just take that and say, all right, they didn't score 40, which they're averaging 44 out of the bye the last 2 seasons. You hold them to 24, and then I'll just figure out a way offensively if I can. The problem is on the offensive side, you might think to yourself, you got to run the ball. JJ McCarthy, you got to just, insulate him, run the football. Well, as Judd brought up earlier in the week, the Vikings are dead last in the NFL in rushing attempts through the first handful of games, 7 games or whatever. They're going to be without Josh Oliver, one of the best run-blocking tight ends in the NFL. And they're going to be without C.J. Ham, who is used here and there as a lead blocker with different personnel packages. So combined with just play calling and schematically, they don't run the ball a lot. The offensive line has not been great, although it's the healthiest version of the offensive line maybe that we have seen. And you're going to be without one of your best run blockers in Josh Oliver. Is this the game where they're going to bust out 140 yards? Like, I don't know if this is the right game for that, man. You might have to pass on that secondary to make it work.
And here's the problem. So, off that point, the Detroit Lions are right now tied for 5th in the National Football League with 23 sacks, okay? Including agent Aiden Hutchinson at 6. He just signed a big new contract. The Vikings are tied for 29th with 28 sacks allowed. And the first 2 games in which JJ McCarthy did play, he was sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, the tackles might be back. But also, you know what, in fairness, we can say that the tackles are going to be back or start, right? But with Christian Darrisaw, we don't know now. Like, it is literally up to him when he plays and does not play. So if he taps out, you can't be like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. So I have no idea. This, again, is why that spread is so fair.
Yeah. Okay. With all of that said, what are you guys most confident in on behalf of the Vikings, Judd?
I'm going to take this one. I'm going to go back to the time of hope in training camp in Eagan on the fields of TCO Performance Center, watching number 9 and number 3. The connection between JJ McCarthy and Jordan Addison was real. Well, then obviously Jordan was suspended for the first 3 games. McCarthy got hurt in the second game. In short, they have not played together in a game. I think there's a real connection there. And I think that we at least have a very good chance of seeing, I'm not saying a dominant game, but I am saying I'm excited to see that. And I'm confident that that connection was not just a fluke. So I think we see Addison and McCarthy again team up to at least give you some hope of, hey, this looks like a real thing.
I'm confident in the fact that they get McCarthy back. They have Andrew Van Ginkel back as a full participant in practice this week, which is good. They really haven't had, their full roster. We'll see on Darrisaw, which is like becoming one of the most bizarre things in recent Vikings roster management history, especially under KOC. But I like the fact that, okay, since week 1, they've obviously battled a barrage of injuries, guys in and out of the lineup. I do like that their roster at least is somewhat getting back to normal. That to me is probably the most confident thing. Is it going to be enough to beat a super good Lions team? I don't think so, but it is at least nice that this roster is slowly starting to get back to what it should have been at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely, however you judged JJ McCarthy in those first 2 games, he didn't have Darrisaw. Now, Darrisaw has been apparently limping around the facility, and there's some questions about just what because he sat out practice on Thursday, and Kevin Seifert is saying that wasn't like a planned day. That was him feeling some discomfort. So we think he's going to go, but he's just had some hesitation with that knee. But if he's playing, it'll be the first time JJ McCarthy gets Darrisaw, first time he gets Addison. So I think I agree with those things. I would say Thor brought this up on the Thursday episode that you might have to go with more of a counterintuitive offensive approach here, that you got to insulate McCarthy, right? That the answer actually to scoring points and unlocking this offense might be to throw the ball more than you would think, because that secondary for the Lions has been decimated and is not fully back yet. So can you sort of catch them off guard by just targeting that secondary? Maybe that's the approach. Maybe you just try to hit him with a couple big plays, go hit Jordan Addison on a big strike early, take a lead. That's got to be the path, right? If you can punch them early, surprise them, take a lead somehow, 7-0, and because it's been rare this season that your defense gets to play from ahead. So I would say the thing I am most confident in is the secondary is gettable for the Lions right now. The state of their secondary is gettable.
If the offensive line can block. Well,
okay, but roll them out. This is another thing. You can move the pocket, Kevin. It's
sure.
It's not illegal to do bootleg rollouts, use his mobility. He doesn't have to sit in that pocket like an.
I hope you're right. I'm just saying I am concerned by the fact that the offensive line, while it's going to be is basically full strength as it's been, I am very concerned about the fact that it's not at full strength health-wise, and McCarthy tends to hang on to the football. Yeah, if he can roll out and you can throw deep, that would be great. Just say your prayers.
Yeah. Well, either way, we'll get to our picks here officially in just a second. Either
Please
way,
help the
whether they
Vikings.
win or lose, your friend Pendleton is here. Old Pendleton whiskey.
Whiskey.
I'm holding the 2025 Vikings limited edition bottle here, the 10-year stadium anniversary bottle here. Pendleton is the whiskey you want for your Vikings game days, whether you're celebrating a well-earned victory, maybe a shocking victory this weekend, or holding your head high after a hard-fought loss. Pendleton whiskey, in addition to being a proud partner of the Minnesota Vikings, is just an amazing whiskey to sip on. In Minnesota, nothing's given. Everything is earned. And the same thing is true when it comes to Pendleton whiskey and the spirit behind Pendleton whiskey, crafted with grit and bottled for those who fought hard for their reward. Pendleton whiskey, not just poured, it's earned. 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Please drink responsibly. If you want tickets to an event, where should you go, Dex?
You should go to SeatGeek. You can get also 10% off any tickets with promo code PURPLE10. Maybe you're looking to get at US Bank Stadium for the first time. Ravens are coming to town. Baltimore coming to town in a week. Heck, there's a lot of concerts too on here you can dabble into. Go to the SeatGeek app, download it, use promo code PURPLE10 for 10% off any tickets to any sporting events, concerts, Broadway shows, musicals. You can give me a review of how those Broadway shows went, since
Dex
I don't
loves
go
musicals.
to them. So, yeah,
Musicals,
SeatGeek.
Right.
Purple
Guy
10.
doesn't like chocolate or musicals. What the hell is wrong with him?
There's a lot wrong
He's
with
12.
me. Yep.
He's 12.
Because I'm 5 years old. Yep.
Sonny is
12-year-olds
more
generally
mature
like
than his
chocolate.
dad right now.
It might be a fair statement.
I agree with that.
Judd, if football makes you excited, but you're having a hard time going 6 to midnight, who should you talk to about that?
Okay, let's talk about this seriously, because there's no reason to be embarrassed about this topic, and that is ED. Listen, ED happens when there's not enough blood flow, and that's often combined with decreased arousal signals from your brain. It's not about your age. It's not about guys that you are losing your competitive advantage. No. It's about biology, and it's treatable. Rougiette is the 3-in-1 ED treatment that actually prepares you for the moment, designed to prime your brain, boost blood flow, and start working quickly, up to a 36-hour active window, so you will be ready for the moment. Visit Rougiette.com. That's RUGIET.com, and get your game plan from a licensed ED doctor. Use the promo code PURPLE at checkout for a special offer. The treatment is going to ship discreetly to your door. That's Rougiette.com, promo code PURPLE.
And when the moment hits, that's the sound you're going to hear right there. It's going to be great. All right, so
She'll be excited by that.
Hey, honey. It's
She'll be excited by that. Yeah.
The Vikings are 8.5-point underdogs here, as we've talked about. So last week we all had the Chargers winning straight up. Dex tried to thread that 3.5 needle with the spread, getting a Vikings cover there, maybe like a backdoor cover. It was a debacle all around for the Vikings. So here are the updated standings. All of us are 4-3 picking straight up against the spread. I'm 5-2. Judd 4-3. Dex is 3-4. So with the Lions being 8.5-point favorites, who wins and by how many points?
Unfortunately, I'm going to go not only the Detroit Lions to win the game, but also to cover the spread. We just talked about it. There's too much. I hope I'm wrong, but there's so many things going against the Vikings in this game. And unfortunately, too, you guys, I sort of think that if JJ McCarthy plays well and they lose, it won't be as negative as it ordinarily is if they lose. So I'm going to go Lions to win and to cover.
Is McCarthy going to look good in that loss?
Define good. Like I don't expect him to start.
Like they're going to have lost the game, but on vent line you're going to be like, okay.
If they covered. If they covered and JJ played well.
Oh yeah.
Right? I feel like
I'm
that
celebrating.
Would be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's close and he plays well, I think him playing well at this point is the biggest priority over anything.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Like not necessarily it has to happen immediately on Sunday, but over the 10-game sample we're about to see, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I have the Lions winning this game, but I have the Vikings covering. I understand that there's a lot of data that Jared Goff in Detroit is really good, but I do not like spreads that are more than a touchdown. I really don't. It's a crazy league, but it's also a really close league. So I envision Detroit's going to win this game, but 8.5 is too rich for me. I mean, like, I know we're not doing Saints and Rams picks here, but like the Rams are 14.5-point favorites over the Saints. Like, I just think this league is set up to be too close. So I have the Lions winning, but I have the Vikings covering this 8.5.
It kind of feels to me like they wanted to make it like a 10 or a 12-point spread here, and they're baiting you with the 8.5, trying to make it seem like it's almost like, why don't you step in here and take the old Vikings, right? And it's a trap. I'm with Judd on this one. I feel like the wheels are off in so many different areas that I would be shocked if this is the game the Vikings like put it all back together again. So I think they lose, and I think they lose by 10. I think we're looking at
14,
31 to 20, 31 to 17 kind of a situation here. Wouldn't shock me. In terms of like net yards per play, these teams aren't super far apart, so that would probably lean more toward Vikings covering here. A lot of it just depends on how good does JJ McCarthy look. The problem for the Vikings is if they lose this game, you're staring down the barrel now on November 9th of a well-rested and getting healthy Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore team that's charging back up the AFC North.
Yep.
So extra rest, Lamar Jackson, that defense has dialed it back in. They've given up a total of 30 points or something in the last 3 games combined. So Baltimore's a problem. The schedule is just brutal for the Vikings. I think it's Lions fairly big. We'll see. Let us know in the comments section. Do you think we're being too negative? Do you think the Vikings are on the verge of turning this all around? It would be wildly impressive if they win this game and McCarthy looks good. We are back off to the races here.
We're back.
But, just kind of feels like a season where everything is like it's just ships passing in the night, all the phases of Vikings football here. But let us know, and then come hang out with us at Mystic Lakes Hop House for a watch party tomorrow and a live Vikings vent line. Open to the public. It's free. We'd love to hang out with you as the Vikings press play on their season once again with JJ McCarthy. And that's a wrap on this picks episode here. Day 2 of Purple Daily YouTube jail. We'll see you guys at Mystic, and we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.